You know who the real racists are? The people that believe that to highlight racism, call out racism, accuse people of racism, and any manual efforts taken to ensure fair and equal representation. Because why won't they just let it go? Why do they feel the need to disenfranchise white people? That's just reverse racism. Now there's two issues with this. First, white people don't exist. Partially, this is because races don't exist, so if races are made up, then white people are the most made up. The other part is that whiteness was created to form a contrast to non-whiteness. Not blackness, but non-whiteness. This is why whiteness excluded Irish, Italian, Jewish, Polish, German, Arabic, Hispanic, and even Catholic people at some point before those identities became useful to whiteness. Blackness is very similar, but blackness is a shared created identity meant to unify the culture of people who are displaced people, same diaspora. Slavery, who have no cultural history on which to lean. It's kind of like how Miami Cubans are very different from Cuban Cubans. But not all black is the same, and blackness recognizes and celebrates this. Whiteness exists only to deny blackness. There is no shared white cultural identity, and whiteness serves to flatten and erase those cultural differences rather than amplify and celebrate them. But the proximity to the appearance of whiteness is a safety measure that keeps whiteness inherently outside of the dangers that outsider status typically conveys. Police brutality, unfair policing and access to the justice system, access to resources like homes and jobs. Which leads us to our second issue. There's not a single thing you could do that could disenfranchise white people as a whole. The statement implies that whiteness as a default has preferred access to certain privileges, and that by prioritizing equal access, you are taking away a certain birthright. Further implying that people of non-white status bear no stake of claim to such things because of the color of their skin, which is, say it with me, racist. White people are the majority demographic in this country, meaning that in order to disenfranchise them, every minority race would need to be given positions of power in this country. Every minority would need to shut white people out from voting, push them into poor, rundown communities where police will stand over them waiting for them to mess up. White people would need to be lynched, beaten, and raped in mass. And when it's all over, white people would need to be mocked and ridiculed every day in media for the crime of being born white. Something that would never happen because every minority I know is infinitely more compassionate and understanding than anybody I have ever known who was identified with being white. So this has been a long one. What I'm trying to nail home here, because surely a lot of people know this stuff, racism is an ism. It is a system that has been invented, like capitalism, communism, Stalinism, Marxism, Maoism, Reaganism. I can go on. These are just ways of thinking invented by people who think they're smart enough to see how the world works. Being accused of being part of this system isn't an insult. Being accused of being a racist is not an insult. It is a growing point. It's not a badge of honor either. You shouldn't be celebrating that you're a racist. Being called a racist should not be an endpoint. Calling someone a racist is the same as diagnosing cancer. You can't just let that tumor sit in there because it will metastasize. These are just ways of thinking that once debunked should be discarded. The problem is that people keep reinventing ways to try and keep that belief alive. It's not talking about it that keeps it around. It's the lack of ability to recognize it because people don't want to talk about it. So find your local racist and strike up a conversation, because at the end of the day, the real racists are the friends you've made along the way.